Hello, everybody, and welcome to Theory Underground. Before I get the video going here, I just wanted to share really quick that what you're about to hear is my defense of M. Night Shyamalan's new film, Trap. The fact is, whatever conceptions or feelings you have of him, people are not being fair when it comes to this movie. To anyone who is coming around for the first time, welcome, hello. I don't normally cover movies because I am in no way a film buff. I haven't seen nearly as many movies as my friends who hated this film or who just kind of thought it was basic and whatever. But the fact is, I think having seen too many movies might be getting in the way of just enjoying this for what it is. What you get here is some pure geekiness on my part, and also Anne's, that delights in not being overly attached to the game of the film critic. In fact, I think I am enjoying arguing against film critics. By the way, anyone who was involved in the making of this film, welcome. I'd love to talk. There's lots of stuff I didn't have time to get into. I really appreciate the fact that Shyamalan went out of his way to get the approval of the Actors Guild that went on strike at the time due to COVID, even if it meant filming it in a different place than originally planned. I also think it's really cool that he's self-funded, produced, and directed this. And when I say self-funded, I mean like he shelled out 20 mil out of pocket, right? Like that's really cool. And then he produced and directed this, and that it's literally an artistic collaboration with his daughter. So to M. Night Shyamalan, happy belated Father's Day. I think you get Dad of the Year as far as people in Hollywood goes. That moment when Shyamalan says in his cameo in the film as the spotter that he is related to Lady Raven and that she really is good. The love that comes through in his eyes, like that's not acting. It's very obviously not acting. It's precious. It's precious. Anyway, in interest of time, I won't explain anything really about Theory Underground except to say that it is an online education platform for lectures, ongoing research seminars, and book publishing for high school dropouts and burnt out post-grad workers with earbuds who want to understand themselves in the world. Okay, that's what theory is all about to me. So if you want to know more, stick around for the little PSA at the end of this video. Thank you and enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome to Theory Underground. So great to have you all joining today virtually in the future, whenever it is for you, whether it be the daytime or not. For us, this is happening on August 22nd. We're here to talk about the movie Trap, but I'm going to begin with a little lecture. Before my little lecture, Anne is going to give a quick little synopsis. Because we love Anne's synopses. That's facts. And so, obviously, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Trap yet, go see it. It's still in theaters. But if it's not still in theaters, buy it, rent it, whatever. I think it's a fantastic movie. That's why I felt compelled to do this. I think a lot of people don't like it for reasons that I think are not the best and actually reveal something more about the viewers than about the film itself, right? You can't judge something for being what it's not trying to be. And I think a lot of people thought it was trying to be something other than what it was. And I'll go into all my reasons in a little bit because I watched it with a bunch of different friends. And I asked each one of them afterwards what they thought. And I was able to get a variety of standpoints, right? And so I think that M. Night Shyamalan is getting the short end of the stick on this one in terms of his treatment from critics. So I'll have a whole conversation about critics. I have no problem with critics, but also, no, I just think that people ultimately aren't giving this its due. And so we'll get into it. But Anne, let's turn over to you, and you can take it away.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, kind of brief summary of the movie. It starts with just a father and a daughter parking outside of a concert venue. The little girl is probably between the ages of 11 and 13. She is just like me when I was 13 and is just so excited to be at this concert of her favorite artist, Lady Raven. That's Riley. And you see the way that she and her dad are interacting, and it's just like wholesome father daughter. He's excited for her. And so they make it to this venue. And as they're inside, you know, checking out the merch, grabbing some food, making their way to their seats, what's the dad's name
Cooper.
again? Cooper. You see that Cooper, Riley's father, like is starting to notice that there's a very strong police presence at this concert. Um, and so they get to their seats, they watch the opener, I think they go out and they look at the merchandise, and he's still seeing like, why are there's police, there's SWAT members. And so Cooper asks the guy who's selling the merch, like, hey, what's with all the police here? And this guy, he's kind of one of the comedic relief characters of the show, of the movie. He says, I'm not supposed to tell anyone this, but they found out that the serial killer in the area, the butcher, was gonna be here. So they're gonna catch him tonight. And Cooper goes, oh, okay. And then we later see Cooper, like, soon after that, in the bathroom, and he goes on into a stall and looks on his phone, and you see like this man who's tied to a chair. He's trapped in this basement, and you make the connection, which was already revealed in the trailer. But if you never saw the trailer, you wouldn't have already known this, that Cooper is the butcher. So you've already seen him be this like great dad, but then he's the bad serial killer who kidnaps unsuspecting victims and kills them and chops their body up and leaves it like out in the world. And that's what he does. And so now he's in this weird position where his daughter is like fangirling so hard at her favorite music artist, Lady Raven, in the whole world, and he's about to get caught and be exposed to his daughter. Um, and so he's brainstorming ways to escape. He's sneaking behind the scenes. He's, causing distractions that cause harm to other people, and trying to brainstorm ways to get out. And so towards like the middle, what he ends up doing is his daughter says, oh, there's one part in the concert where she brings a fan up on stage and they get to dance with her. They get to go backstage and everything. And he's thinking, oh, if I go backstage, maybe I can get out, exit without, the SWAT team. Because like these police and SWAT, we're gonna look at every single man who fit the profile of the butcher. And so he finds some crew member who's like the uncle of Lady Raven and kind of manipulates his way to get Riley on stage to be this dream girl of the night by saying, oh yeah, she just recovered from like cancer or whatever,
Leukemia. Yeah.
leukemia. And so it plays this sob story. Riley gets chosen. They get to go backstage, and he is about ready to exit. Oh, and this whole time you're kind of seeing the head of the police investigation who just has this guy's profile like nailed down. She's so sure that they'll get him that day. And so he's backstage and he's ready to exit, but oh, there's still SWAT teams at the end or at the exits backstage. And so he decides to kind of go mask off. He like pulls Lady Raven aside and he says, okay, I am the butcher. And see this man? I have the power to kill him right now from my screen. So he manipulates her. He says, what you're gonna do is you're gonna escort me and my daughter home. You're gonna tell your security that we're fine, we're good. You're gonna drop us off at home, or I'm gonna kill this man. So now the Lady Raven's in this weird position, and of course she agrees to it. She doesn't want this. It's like a trolley. She's in a trolley problem situation. Um, so she gets them in the car to their house, but Lady Raven's coming up with this plan. And so she's like, no, I want to go in and meet your family. Or I think Riley's mom invites her in so she could have a meal with them. And Cooper's like, okay, time for you to go. And she says, wait, before I go, I want to play a song for you. And so she starts, playing the piano, and Cooper is like pretending to film, but he actually is like, girl, you better not do anything. Remember, I have the power to kill this man. Um, and she ends up like distracting Cooper and taking his phone and running into the bathroom. It's like, I need to borrow your phone really quick, and goes into the bathroom. And she communicates with this guy on Cooper's phone who's kidnapped and figures out where he is, and then takes to her social media and is like, "You fans, I need you guys to help. If you know this area, I need you to take everyone you can. There's a man stuck in the basement here." And this whole time you hear Cooper outside, like banging on the door, like, "Give me my phone, let me out." And his wife and his kids are in there, like, "Cooper, what are you doing? It's fine, it's fine." So she comes out, and Cooper basically like grabs her by the wrist and is ready to take her. Like, he's like, "Oh girl, what have you done?" His wife and kids are gone, and they get in the car, and Cooper and Lady Raven has been briefed on kind of everything she needs to know about this killer because it's her concert. And so she kind of knows his psychological profile and starts talking to him as if she is his mother, because it's revealed about him that he had like an abusive parent, a bad relationship with his mom. His mom belittled him and shamed him. And so she starts talking to him in that way that his mother talked to him, to kind of bring about that emotional reaction in him. She's like, "You don't have to do this. You can be good." And they open the garage and door, and his wife and kids are standing there. Um, Cooper ends up, if I'm remembering correctly, like making a run for it. He's gone. They think, "Oh no, like he's escaped." And later we see the wife at home alone. Um, let's see what happens. She is just like making a cup of tea, and this woman in charge of the police search is having a conversation with her, and she just gets left alone. The wife is left at home, and come to find out, there's Cooper. Oh no, there's this whole scene where Cooper like drives away with Lady Raven, ends up stealing one of the outfits of one of the SWAT members and runs away with her. And Lady Raven once again like escapes from Cooper. So we keep getting into these situations where, you think he's got him, and then somehow he's escaped, or he's put on a different outfit. And so he keeps escaping, and finally it's like, oh man, he got away. But he comes back home, and he is angry because he realizes his wife is the one who exposed him, and she admits that she did expose him. She started to figure that, oh, maybe he's the butcher because he's been weird and distant, but she knew that he wouldn't cheat. And so
Yeah, she followed
he
him
is.
to a house and it was empty, right? And it was a complete.
Mhm.
There wasn't even a bed in there. It's just a table and a chair. And she was like, "What the hell?" She's like, "Maybe he's the
Yeah.
butcher." Yeah.
So she was the one who set off like, signaled the police that there was this empty house and left his concert ticket there. Um, to kind of get him caught without just directly calling the cops. And he is like, "I am so angry. I've never felt this angry." He's like, "I don't feel anger when I kill people, but I'm so angry at you because you're going to make it so that I never get to see my kids again." And so he like pulls the knife on her, and she's like, "Okay, can we just eat some dessert together, like our last moment together?" Because they were still husband and wife. So, this was Riley's day. Let's eat this for her. He's sitting there, he's talking, he's ready to kill her. But little does he know that the wife ended up, she found his stash of tools, and she poisoned his piece of pie. Or didn't poison it, but she put some sedative in it. So he's hallucinating, and turns out the SWAT team was still there the whole time. They tase him, they get him. Movie ends. He's in, the SWAT truck. He's being taken away, but he's one step ahead of them. And as the movie ends, you see him. He's able to unlock the keys of the hand, or he's able to unlock the handcuffs that he's in, because he was able to get like a little pin off of one of the kids' bikes out on the driveway. So it's like, you think, oh, finally he's captured. Oh, but maybe he's not. His hands are free. And that's how the movie ends. You never actually know, like, oh, is he gonna escape again? We can talk about that. That was my recollection of the movie, having seen it 2 weeks ago. I know AO saw it more recently, and Dave seen it 4 times. So that's what you missed in Trap.
Thank you. That was amazing. That was a great speed run. And honestly, I have so much more fun listening to Anne tell these movie synopses than I do watching those kinds of, channels that make a full-time preoccupation of giving movie synopses or TV show synopses. So thank you, Anne. Ao, is there anything that you would like to add in terms of details or something maybe that you want to sort of elaborate on? Anything's missing or you want to elaborate on from Anne's synopsis?
Uh, no, I think she covered all of it. I think most of it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I guess I should ask really quick, like, so did you see a trailer or read the description or did you go in blind? Did you know what was going on when you went in to see it?
Yeah, I saw a trailer, so I knew that Cooper was the killer.
Okay.
Like I was like I'm sure like everyone who watched the trailer was like, "Oh yeah, I bet he's the killer." And then the
Right.
trailer straight up tells you.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And so I think it's actually really interesting because part of how we saw it was a bit impacted by not having seen the trailer. But how did you like it though?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I maybe I didn't like it as much as you guys, but I still liked it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. Well, then I'll dive in. So I hope that what I'm about to do will make you like it more, ultimately. But I think that's what theory can offer in a lot of cases is like a new way to see a film. And so I'm going to go into a few of the ways that some of my friends, for sure, miswatched it. And I know that this is all up to interpretation, but at a certain level, there are better than worse interpretations, and mine is, I'm going to argue, better for reasons we'll get into. But first, just a couple little things in terms of Anne's amazing synopsis. There's a couple little details. She only saw it one time. A couple little details. First of all, Riley is 12 because on the way into the music arena or whatever, they were racing each other to get there because she's in a hurry. She's fangirling. She doesn't want to be late. She wants to get to her seat and everything like that. And he's kind of like doing this like fake racing, and she's like, "Not fair. I'm only 12," or something like that. So whatever. She basically just says it, but you don't really hear it. There's a lot of things that I didn't hear the first, second, or third time that I was watching it. By the way, shout out to my buddy Bert. He's got one of these passes where he's actually able to get free tickets. And so he took me a couple of times. That's part of how I was able to go so many times. Okay. One of the other things is that before going to the merch table to get the T-shirt for Riley, Cooper actually had already left. So he left Riley in the middle of a song. He said he had to go to the bathroom really quick. And so he goes to the bathroom, makes her promise not to leave. And at least two people that I watched it with thought that at this point in the film that he was already aware that the cops are there for him because on the way in, he's noticing cops. And then they sit down, and while the first song's going on, he notices the cops taking away the father. So multiple fathers get escorted out by the cops, and he's watching this happen. He's kind of like, you could tell that he's kind of like, what's going on here? But he's not on high alert yet. He's not seriously aware. He's not thinking this is all a trap for me. No, he's not thinking that yet. And here's why I can say that. So arguing against people who think that he is just from the get-go aware that it's a trap. No, he goes to the bathroom and he doesn't do anything like look up what might be going on his phone. No, he looks up. He looks at his victim, Spencer, who is in this cellar in one of his houses, and he just watches the guy being basically possessed. Right, like Cooper has possessed him. Cooper has him chained to this thing, and he is He's under his control, his domination. And you can see that he's getting off on the fact that he has Spencer. So like his face, it's actually, I think, amazing acting. I don't understand this weird thing that some people have with Josh Hartnett or Hartnett, but basically because some people don't like things he's been in before. He's played some roles that they thought were corny or whatever. They're not taking him seriously in this one. And you get the same kind of thing with Nicolas Cage. People just go, oh my God, it's Nicolas Cage. And then they don't take it seriously. And it's like, well, yeah, but you have a preconception. If you're actually paying attention and you're like me and you don't have a lot of preconceptions about Josh Hartnett going in, which I had literally none. I just like, I don't know him. I don't pay attention to movies. People are like, oh, Dave, you must love movies. You're doing this. No, I don't love movies. There are certain ones I go sometimes and they give me a lot to think about. Well, Josh Hartnett is doing really good acting throughout this film. Some people are like, oh no, it's awkward dialogue and there's like really weird like social dynamics and the acting comes across really weird. Yeah, at the point that he's having that conversation with the merch salesman, the comic relief guy Anne mentioned, Jamie. Yeah, of course. At that point, when he's finding out that that this is all a trap for the serial killer, he starts being a little weird, a little awkward. He's like, well, yeah, because what do you do in that situation, right? I don't know. No, none of us know. None of us are in that situation, but it's a quite plausible way of acting, the way that Josh Hartnett played it. So that's me sticking up for him. But anyway, all of that was to say, going to the bathroom before having gone to the merch stand with his daughter between songs, signals that he's not aware it's a trap yet. He's more interested in two things: his victim and his daughter. These are the two things that he cares about the most, which is what I'm going to argue is the point of the whole movie. My point about the movie is that it is about him, Cooper, trying to lead a double life. He's living in two worlds. He is an excellent father, a great family man. And on the other hand, he is a serial killer. He's got major OCD in both of these worlds. And part of that comes down to the fact that he is so keen on knowing exactly where he places things and doing everything in a meticulous manner so that he covers his tracks and that he is able to keep these lives separated. So, I mean, arguably his OCD is a symptom of this separation, this deep split in his subjectivity. Now, from a theoretical standpoint, from a, let's say, a Lacanian psychoanalytic standpoint, all humans are split. Yes, but most are not so split that they are serial killers and great fathers at the exact same time. But this split is, and the maintenance of the separation between these two worlds is the whole point of the movie. If we add one more word, and I would say it's the most important word for thinking about this film, and that is fatherhood. This is a film about fatherhood, right? M. Night, how do you say it? Is it Shyamalan? Oh, I want to make a quick little interruption here just to remind you that this is paid for by the Patreon. The people over the Patreon are people who don't have time to be a part of the more active, ongoing seminar research community that you're watching here. No, the people at the Patreon don't really have time for that, so they are they just sign up over there just to fund the stuff that goes public. And I just wanted to do a shout out to all you people who do watch the free content and say, hey, you know, I this is all about kind of promoting and just showing like what's going on behind the scenes and the people who do have the time. But if you don't have the time, if you don't have the finances, if you just can't, well, I hope that you get a lot from the free content. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm putting out way more than most people can keep up with anyway, just on the free side. And so, yeah, I hope you're getting a lot from that. And remember, there is a scholarship just for people who feel like the finances are an obstacle. Just go look at the website, click on the tabs, you'll find it. But anyway, yeah, just, you know, thank you to my patrons. Thank you to the free people. I understand, like, look, this is like the real community over here, right? They're the ones making it happen there behind the scenes, right? Yeah, but also people like Weird Solovsky in the live chats, in the comment sections. You all really do make it happen on YouTube. And people on the podcast side, shout out to you all as well. I don't even know. Like, podcast is a little bit less visible to me. I don't really know who's there. A couple people have come in to the seminar through the podcast, which has been awesome. But for the most part, I don't see comments from podcasters. And so it's like, you're just like this more anonymous swarm. So I just want to say thank you to you all as well. Please rate Theory Underground on apps, on any podcasting platform that you might use. Rate it. That's the least you can do, because, I mean, eventually a bunch of people are going to try to trash Theory Underground, and it's good to have some positive stuff up there to contrast against the less thoughtful, more reactive, and just purely hateful kind of reviews that we will inevitably receive. All right, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll get right back to the program. Fatherhood, right? M. Night, how do you say it? Is it Shyamalan or is it Shyamalan?
I hear people pronounce it Shyamalan, so that's how I say it.
He is an American filmmaker, philanthropist, and actor. How do you say it? M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. Okay, Shyamalan. Thank you, AO. I also just wanted to double check with this YouTube video how to pronounce, and we'll just go with it. Shyamalan. Well, part of the issue with viewing this with fresh eyes, right, is that people have a lot of preconceptions, not just about Josh Hartnett, but also about M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan ruined Christmas. M. Night Shyamalan ruined Avatar. M. Night Shyamalan, peed on your birthday. I don't know. Like, people feel like this guy has been trying to make a good movie since The Sixth Sense, and that he's just constantly failing. People say things like, oh yeah, well, he's really good at coming up with a great idea, and then he's really bad at execution. And so somebody asked me to watch The Happening as proof of that. And so I went and watched The Happening. Ann and I saw it together. And indeed, it is a great idea, but it was kind of weird how he tried to pull it off. I would agree, actually, that it's a great idea. It wasn't pulled off as great as it could have. There are other movies that came along later and nailed it, right? Like there's Bird Box, and then there's that movie like Bird Box. I always forget the name of that movie that's like Bird Box, but it's the one that came before Bird Box. But essentially, it's a movie about, if you listen, if you hear the things, you'll kill yourself, right? Like, in Bird Box, if you see the sky, you'll kill yourself. Well, in The Happening, there's something going on that's making people kill themselves in mass, right? And so it's a story about some people trying to escape whatever is making that occur. It's a great idea, and it's a great idea that other people then took and ran with. Why is it a great idea? Because it's extremely powerful to watch a movie where people are spontaneously and randomly, seemingly, offing themselves, right? So Shyamalan has great ideas. Execution is apparently what he's not good at. Well, I think that he was really good at, for instance, the movie Signs. I think that was a great movie. People also don't like this guy because, they think M. Night Shyamalan is too woke, right? An example of that was in The Last Airbender. He, wants to honor the actual Asian pronunciation of the characters' names, and so instead of Aang, it's Ung, right? And the main character, he actually changes the main character's name, and then people think that was virtue signaling because the name was made up anyway. It's not even a real Asian name in the first place. And you know what? I'm gonna just give it to M. Night Shyamalan that he sometimes succeeds, sometimes he fails. He's a human. He's an artist. He's trying to succeed as an artist in capitalism. I bear him no ill will. I don't feel like he ruined my birthday or Christmas. But for people who've been disappointed repeatedly, or at least think they have been, they love to hate him, right? And so people going into this movie loving to hate him were not paying attention to what it is, which is a movie about the maintenance of the separation between two worlds and this deep split in subjectivity that is ultimately something I want to argue is inherent to, if not the human, at least the masculine, and in all cases, fathers themselves. All fathers feel a split that they have to navigate. Most of the time, the split between their ego, its ideal, and their unconscious drive. Usually that split does not have them going and serial killing. In a lot of cases, it has them watching pornography or gambling or drinking or leading some kind of a life that is ultimately undermining their ability to succeed at being a good father. One of the things I like about this film is that it kind of shows you that, like, you could be a bad person and still service the function of being a good father. I think that's an important message nowadays, right? If you just watch it and you just pay attention to how he engages with his daughter Riley, he's doing a good job. I mean, he's taking her to this concert. Why? Not for any selfish reason, but because she got 4 A's and a B on her report card, and they had told her if you can up your grades, you get to go to the concert. And so this is like a big celebration for her, as Anne referenced towards the end of her synopsis. Yeah, I mean, the pie that was still on the kitchen counter when when Cooper comes to kill his wife, that pie is left over from what? The celebration of his daughter's success on her report card. So he goes to the concert with her, but he also engages with her. Yeah, when standing in line, he asks her, how is it going with those girls? These girls that have been picking on her, that have been rude to her, that have been ostracizing her. What does she do? She says, I'd rather not talk about it. And then instead of digging deeper like some asshole, he actually goes, oh, okay. Changes the subject, keeps it going. And then over some cafeteria food inside, she opens up about it. And he listens attentively and responds in basically the ideal father way, right? He's doing a good job of performing this role. Now, towards the end of the movie, we will find out he did not believe for the longest time that he was doing anything but pretending. He thought that he was just playing this role, and he was playing it well, right? He wanted to blend in with society, right? But in playing the role over time, it turned out, no, he actually loved her. And he finds out how much he loves his children at the point that he realizes he'll never be able to see them again, which is why he gets so angry with Rachel for ruining everything, because in his mind, it could have worked. We could have made it work. Of course, that's crazy talk. It could have never worked. It was bound to fail at some point. All right, but what are some of the crazy things that people say about this film and the ways that people misinterpret it because they're not thinking about split subjectivity? They're not thinking about the maintenance of the separation of two worlds. They're not thinking about fatherhood itself. Well, people think that, this was one really interesting one. One of our friends thinks that, or thought to the end, that the daughter, Rachel or Riley, was in on it, right? If you think that Riley was in on it, then you're not thinking about all of the moments of proof throughout the film that show how hard he is trying to maintain this separation between his relationship with his daughter and his serial killer life. And there are several proofs of that. The proofs of that are, let me go down here. He has like basically, I think, 4 opportunities to escape. 4 opportunities to escape that he doesn't go for. We'll come back to those in a little bit. I'm going to go hit on a few of these other things that people say. People have a big problem with the nepotism of this film. Okay, because if you didn't know, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is Lady Raven. She's a real pop star. Her name is Celica Shyamalan. Celica Shyamalan has been a pop star for some time. This is not like he's just making her one overnight, but there are two things that Shyamalan is doing this year that is meant to, I mean, help help his relationship with his daughters, and also in whatever ways he can help them succeed. One was having Celica be sort of a centerpiece of this film, and we'll get into Lady Raven in a little bit, but she's actually an amazing character, and Celica is a really great actress. She does a fantastic job. Like that part when she's just crying, tears are coming down her face, and she's sitting there like talking in the mother voice to Cooper. That scene is crazy, right? It gave me chills. But it's only really so amazing because of her acting. And so people are acting like this is pure nepotism. I'm sorry. If M. Night Shyamalan wants to celebrate how great of an actress and singer and dancer his daughter is, what's wrong with that? Why do people have a problem with fathers doing things for their daughters? We live in the most anti-father society that has ever existed in human history. There's never been a human society that is this anti-father. And I think that a lot of people's interpretations of this film really get to that. Nepotism? I'm sorry, what kind of a world do you want to live in if artists can't help each other, including their family members who also might happen to be artists? So the other instance of that is that he's helping produce a film that his other daughter is directing. Okay, so, people have a problem with the nepotism. I think that's a really cheap shot. I mean, anybody who has a problem with the nepotism of this film, I wouldn't want them to be my family. I'll just say that straight up. I wouldn't want you to be my family if you don't believe in helping out family, right? Okay, this was a really important one. Serial killer cliches. People are so sick and tired of serial killer cliches. I'm sorry. It's called like a archetype, stereotype, or trope, right? These are not the same things, but all three of them are narrative devices, and you can't tell stories without them. You can't reinvent everything. But this is not about a serial killer. It's about a split in subjectivity, and he could have had the unconscious and a drive side of this character be a lot of things, but having it be a serial killer is just a really extreme way of highlighting something about a dynamic that fathers experience. Okay, so in fact, I would actually say this choice of the serial killer, though, might even be more than just the extreme of it, right? Because something that I've been playing with a lot since probably the second viewing was that this isn't just a story about fatherhood. You'll notice that everything about Cooper's unconscious side is this battle with his mother. Multiple times throughout the movie, you see a split face, and whenever his split face is happening, then he sees his mother, right? He sees his mother sometimes when his face is not split on the screen, but the split on the face on the screen, I think that's very significant. And the fact that he's seeing his mother every one of those times, that matters. You find out that his mother was abusive to him. She punished him a lot, right? When Lady Raven is using the mother voice and saying, you can change. When you were little, you used to do good things too. And then he stops resisting, and then he falls into it. And he says, well, yeah, you punished me a lot though. Right. And then a couple of seconds later, he breaks out of it. Right. And realizes, oh yeah, she's just getting in my head. Well, that idea that she used to punish him a lot is interesting. What Lady Raven responds with when he says that is that she didn't know what to do. And I think that that's really accurate, right? The profiler, Dr. Josephine Grant, the FBI director who's like running this trap, I think that she is, so she's the profiler. She's the one who's talked with Lady Raven, and I think that this is supposedly something that's very common with his sort of pattern of killings, how tidy he is. Like they were able to figure out he's OCD. They were also able to figure out, in most cases, nobody notices this person except for the parent. Like the parent or parents, they might notice early on, but they're the only ones who are going to notice because this personality profile is of a person who becomes very good at blending in. Well, we shouldn't be thinking of serial killers like Hannibal Lecter when we're thinking of who to compare this guy to. Cooper is not some knockoff of Hannibal Lecter. He is Dexter in a different universe. He is Dexter in a very close universe where instead of having a father who could sit down and talk to him about his split and how to manage his drive, he didn't have a father. Like I said, this is a movie about fatherhood. Well, for those who don't know, the show Dexter, many, many seasons, is about a serial killer who only kills bad guys, right? Because he was crying, he couldn't stop killing like little animals and all that kind of crap, and his father was like trying to work with him on it, and eventually was just like, look, man, if this is who you are, then you just have to remember you're not like other people, and you need some rules. You need some rules that you follow strictly, and then you can still be like a good person. And so like only kill bad people, right? Like kill other serial killers. Don't go after normies and civilians, right? But because this mother didn't know how to have that conversation with him, didn't know how to help him deal with his split, didn't help him get into a healthier relation with his drive, she would just spank him, right? So anybody who was spanked because they weren't understood and they didn't have parents who could communicate or understand things, I hope that you will see something relatable in that. I think it's actually a really, really deep insight, right? If people think that M. Night Shyamalan has this ability to come up with great ideas, but he's not able to execute them all the time, this is a great idea, and he does execute it. And if people were watching this with clear eyes, then I think that they would have known that. I have to wrap this up pretty soon here, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit on a couple more of these. So yeah, some people just didn't think that he was a realistic serial killer. Yeah, well, that's because he was being a great father, and some people just don't know how to like see someone who's being a great father and then like also think that person could be a serial killer. Some people had problems with like the infinite supply of police officers and how he escaped lots of traps along the way, like the limousine. It's like how did he manage that? Or he escapes his house and then he ends up in the limousine later. Like how is that happening? I think that this is missing the point. Like the point that Shyamalan wants to show us is that this guy is going to insane lengths to make this relationship work, and that luck is on his side even, yet he doesn't take his lucky opening to escape. And so I said I would hit on the proofs that he's not actually escaping. Let's hit on those really quick, and then I'll close out my little lecture here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you both have to say. And so the proofs, the first opportunity to escape was when the first artist comes up through the floor to like collaborate with Lady Raven, right? He comes through and then he's singing and it's like this duo, and Riley is just so excited about it. But like where he came up through the floor, there's like an opening in the floor. And so here's Cooper, and he looks at the floor multiple times, and then instead of just darting out and getting away like he could have gotten out right there and started his life all over again. He instead tries to talk his daughter into going into the hole, and it's really awkward and it's funny because she's not going to do it. He's like, well, there could be costumes and stuff down there. It could be really cool. And she's just like, Like, what are you, is there something wrong with you, Dad? And then he's just like, no, I'm just excited for you is all. And to me, it's like that kind of awkward humor that you get from a show like, I Think You Should Leave. Like it was funny. Like Ann and I thought it was funny. Some people in the audience of a couple of the viewings thought it was funny. Other audiences didn't seem to think it was funny, but there was humor like that sprinkled all throughout this film. And that's one of the nice things about it, is that there's beautiful music. There's a great relationship. This girl's having the night of her life. We never get to see like innocent 12-year-olds just having the night of their life with their dad. That's never represented in Hollywood. And so here we're actually getting to see it. Of course, there's also this dark side for sure, but come on, that's awesome. And when he goes downstairs with the other comic relief, Jamie, he has an opportunity to kill Jamie and try to escape down there. Jamie literally hands him a razor. Hold this for me, right? Well, he doesn't kill Jamie, and then they go back upstairs. And a lot of people they don't think about how that was an opportunity for him to escape, but he didn't want to escape right then because he hadn't communicated with his daughter yet about a contingency plan. So once he gets back to her, what does he do? He says, hey, I've got to go back and get my debit card, but if anything happens, meet me out by the place. And then he's about to pull the fire alarm out there in the hall, and then listening on the stolen radio piece, he hears, actually, they're expecting him to trigger the fire alarm. So he has to find a different way out. Okay, third opportunity to escape that he doesn't go for is when they are actually in the back of the venue, backstage. He has an opportunity probably to get out with Kid Cudi. Now, I don't remember the name of the artist that Kid Cudi is playing, but for anybody who watched it, it's that black dude with the white hair, right? He's acting pretty gay, right? And he calls that woman a bitch. He's a biatch, but like he's actually being really mean to his assistant. So he's like, it's the Thinker. So his name is the Thinker. The artist that Kid Cudi is playing is the Thinker. And so the Thinker Kid Cudi is playing is this gay sort of R&B hip hop artist, and he's an asshole. Like he's an actual diva. But that's fine. Because he's gay. And so everyone's like, of course, it's fine. You're famous and gay. Well, the problem, the reason this is an opportunity for Cooper to escape is that when he's back there and he's thinking, I can't go down the hall, like there's a bunch of cops down there. Kid Cudi comes walking by. He's leaving with his entourage, and he kind of like nods at Riley, and she's just like, oh my God, it's like celebrity, right? She's just totally Twitter pated or whatever. But then Kid Cudi looks up, the Thinker looks up at Cooper and is all, hey, and is all, and is like clearly coming on to him as he walks away. Well, I mean, if he really wanted to get out, and maybe he could have ditched his daughter, or he could have tried to bring her with, but he could have probably got on the bus with Kid Cudi. But these three opportunities, the floor hole, killing the employee and escaping in the basement, and pretending he wants to bang Kid Cudi, these are not opportunities for escape that he takes. Finally, the last one is ditching from the limousine. Okay? He could have ditched from the limousine the moment they actually get out of the trap. And then he could have gone and changed his name. He could have moved somewhere else. He could have started a new life. But he's doing absolutely anything he can to maintain this relationship. There's a couple things that I want to say about Dr. Josephine Grant, because I think she's an amazing character. She's absolutely iconic, and I think that she is a symbol of empowerment in a way that we don't normally get in Hollywood, which is also part of my problem with people just thinking that M. Night Shyamalan is woke. Nothing in this movie is like this on-the-nose SJW sort of thing that ruins the film. None of it's trying too hard. But Dr. Josephine Grant is an amazing and powerful female character. And she's old, which it's nice to see a really intelligent old lady in a show. But here's a fun, actually, I'll just say it right now, since I already started. She's played by Haley Mills. Okay, I didn't know about this, but Bert, he's older, he's in his 60s. He's the one who took me to see so much of this. And he told me that Haley Mills was actually a heartthrob, a 16-year-old heartthrob in the 1960s. By the 1970s, he said, she matured. And by that, he meant she got into some more erotic kinds of material. Okay, well, I don't know that that means that she matured. I kind of hate when people think that being sexualized means you're mature now. But yeah, so Hayley Mills was this 16-year-old that everybody loved in the 60s. Well, here she is playing this To Catch a Predator role. I mean, not a sex offender kind of predator, but no, like an actual serial killer. That's also a predator, right? So I think it's really important to think about the casting choice here. We're talking about someone who was most likely abused by Hollywood during the sexual revolution, right? Okay, yeah, so there's some stuff I'd like to say about her. There's some stuff I'd like to say about the songs and the lyric choice for the songs and how well the songs complemented the film and in fact were often on the freaking nose. I'd like to say some other things about some other friends and the sort of ridiculous interpretations or criticisms they have of this film that naturally come from not thinking about it through what I take to be the actual lens where you're kind of supposed to be thinking about it through, which is, like I said, split subjectivity, the separation of these two worlds, and fatherhood. Okay, with that, Ao and Anne, I'm super curious to hear your reactions, how much they might have differed, anything that you might have that is based on what I've said, but also just anything from your own sort of analysis, go for it.
Yeah. I saw some things that related to this, a lot of the stuff we're doing with CMT. Um, in my notes, I just wrote down the movie is kind of like a microcosm of our like frictionless, heavily mediated reality.
Mm,
Um, so like there's you notice there's like a lot of screens, like obviously like a lot of phone screens, but also like um there's also the giant screens in the concert area and how it's like you have the Lady Raven performing like right in front of you, but like probably most people are looking at the screen image of her instead of like looking at her. I guess it's because it's like a huge stadium. You probably you and a lot of people are sitting far away, so they probably look at the screens to get a better look. But there's also like there's this moment in the beginning of the near the beginning of the film where Riley goes like some girls are doing like a choreography
mm,
and like Riley goes to join them. And so Cooper pulls out his phone and he's recording it. And then he pans the phone to a screen, which is also showing that choreography. So it's like screens on screens.
mm,
I thought was interesting. And also like obviously surveillance is a huge um part also. So I was like in my notes, I was like FBI profile equals big data profile question mark. And so like the FBI profile is like a predictive model to obviously catch Cooper, to catch a serial killer. But also um like big data profiles are made of us to like sort of capture our desires and try and steer our desires. And this whole thing about like trying to like how Cooper laments how he can't keep the two lives separate. I wonder, like, even in our sort of frictionless, mediated reality, if that's even possible anymore. So that's just some thoughts I had. And also, like it's interesting, like I've always held this idea, like frictionless, media technology makes it like easier to be cruel to each other, I think. And like we see this with obviously like Cooper's holding this victim and like he has with and he can check on him with an app on his phone.
Mhm.
And also like when he's threatening to kill the guy, he's like I think at one point he says, "Oh, I could press this button. It'd be like calling an Uber,"
Mhm.
which I thought is another interesting dimension. But also um when they talk about Riley being bullied, like I believe they talk about how they keep the friends that are ostracizing her keep posting on social media like
Mm.
on purpose as a way to like like rub it in her face that she's not included anymore. So I think there's this kind of um dichotomy between like the cruel ways that we treat each other with in this mediated world, and also I think there's like a belief in like there's an earnestness to the film. I think there's a belief in um sincerity and like actually engaging and like empathizing with people. Like there's a very touching moment when Lady Raven meets Spencer, and one of the fans that helps tips her off to Spencer's whereabouts, and it's just a really simple touching scene. And like I don't know, what did I write in my notes? I wrote the belief in the power of face to face.
Mm.
Um, and also like even the simple things like, oh, Riley got bullied by those girls on social media, but like she makes friends with girls like sitting next to her. And it's like that face to face sort of like I think the movie really believes that we can, you know, not get back to that, but like, like, treasure that. So that
Mm.
was what that was my thoughts.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's really good.
I know
I'm glad.
that's such a cool perspective to see it from. And it's like the duality of screens, the split screen in the sense of it can be used for good, it can be used for evil, like is kind of like the split subject, the split father, Cooper, who's like a really great father, like, yeah, I can use my phone for Uber. Also like a murderer, like I can kill this guy in 1 second. So that's just a like really great observations and how that functions and like the surveillance. So like that's awesome.
Mm.
David, do you want to say anything before I go?
No, go for it.
Cool. Well, I'm kind of tending to some pasta here. Actually, let me make sure it's not ready. No, I'm good. I have another minute. Um, yeah, I also like really enjoyed the movie. It was I don't not like stressful, scary, suspenseful movies, but like they stress me out. Like I take them really seriously. And I liked that this one, yeah, it was stressful. You were on the edge of your seat. You're like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? But it's earnest, it's sincere. There's really sweet moments. There's funny moments throughout. And we were talking about how the way like this father daughter relationship plays in, it's like you as the viewer almost feel torn and feel split, like, oh my gosh, he's a psycho, what is he doing? But also you kind of don't want him to get caught because you care about Riley so much, and you can see hopefully that he cares about her, and you're like, well, I don't want anything bad to happen to her for this moment to get ruined for her. It's like, yeah, I was Riley when I was 12, 13 with like One Direction, like just oh my god, the concerts. So that's like a really special, memorable moment for her. And so you were like, you're feeling for her, you're excited for her. I think these characters, they make like even Cooper is, when he's being a father, is lovable. And because Dave and I didn't see the trailer beforehand, we didn't know that Cooper was the butcher. And so we found that out kind of in the movie, like as he pulls out his phone and looks at this guy that he has kidnapped, and is like, oh, so coming in already knowing, you're like, yeah, well, he's a piece of shit serial killer. Oh yeah, he's a good father too, I guess. But like finding that out, like shape, you go, wait, you already kind of started to like him and just thought it was a really wholesome thing, relationship. And so yeah, it's like just all of these splits. And yeah, I thought it was an enjoyable movie. I didn't really know anything about Shyamalan before, but like there were really, yeah, likable female characters, well acted. Like that scene in the end, towards the end, when Cooper's like manipulating Lady Raven, is like, you are gonna take me in your limo, and he's like holding the phone, and I don't remember exactly like what's going on. He's like, what's it gonna be, him or this? Like he's giving her this choice, and just the look on his face, it's like, yeah, it's that psychotic, crazy serial killer vibes, but it's really good. So I enjoyed it, performance
Oh,
wise, story wise. Yeah, go ahead.
what did you think about Allison Pill's performance? Because I kind of forgot to mention like a little bit about Rachel, right? Um, so oh, Anne had to step away, so I'll just say it. Like Rachel was amazing. Like so Allison Pill, I've seen her in a couple of things, but the scene, there's a lot of scenes where her acting is good, but it's the scene when he's talking to her about how much rage he feels towards her, that like her face transforms. Like it kind of was like, am I on shrooms? Like how is her face transforming this much? But maybe it was CGI. No, I think that she's just an amazing actress, but like she, she's not just like tearing up, like she's horrified and she's crying and she's tearing up. And it's just like, I've not seen a face transform like that in such a blatant way. And I just, when I'm not an actor, so I just have to think like it's one thing to cry. Like that's why I'm impressed with Salika, whatever her name is, like Lady Raven. I'm already impressed with her crying and doing the mother voice. But how much more so from Allison Pill? Like that shit was insane. So mad props, Allison Pill.
Yeah, I know. I just remember seeing her towards the end and thinking, oh, she's a really talented actress. She's gonna play a bigger role, because you think you're towards the end of the movie, and it's like, yeah, Alison Pill's a pretty notable actress. I've seen her in a lot of things as well, and so yeah, she gives a really good performance, and like it's like that's kind of the twist. Like there was, you watch any movie these days, and you're like, what's the twist gonna be? What's the twist gonna be? And so I was like, in that moment where she was all alone for a second, I'm like, oh, what if you find out after the fact that she's actually in on it all. Um, so I had that thought for a moment, but it's like, yeah, no, it was really believable, and just the way that, yeah, there's like a lovable father character, half lovable, and just like lovable women. It's like Riley's experience at that concert was really brave. And like 5 minutes into the movie, I tell Dave, I'm like, I feel so represented because it's like that was me as a teenager and it, or yeah, as a 13-year-old. And it is kind of cringe, like in a sense, the way that society perceives that kind of just crazy excitement for like your favorite celebrity. But it's like, it's precious the way that Riley was portrayed. And Lady Raven was really brave. And yeah, the police chief woman, what's her name, Dave?
Dr. Josephine Grant.
Dr. Josephine Grant is really smart. And so you've just got like actually strong female characters that are just strong characters because they're doing great things and they're being acted well, not just, oh, it's a female character, you have to like them because they're a woman, in the way that like something like Miss Marvel or She-Hulk, like all the movies with that want to have like these strong, likable female characters are just like, oh, it's a woman. We gave you your diversity woman. She's obnoxious as hell, but you should like her. And it's like, no, these women were like really likable characters.
And
So,
feminine.
yeah.
And feminine.
Yeah. Not these like, haha, I'm one of the guys. Ooh, I'm so quirky. It's like being a little fangirl is the most like kind of feminine thing. I guess it'd be slightly different if it was like for a boy band or something. But it's like that. It's like it's cute. So to see that represented in all the ways was awesome.
Yeah, there were a lot of people who thought that was cringe, right? And it's like, well, I think that they're just not intergenerational. They're not thinking about being parents. They're not preparing themselves to be good dads or moms in the future. They're not realizing like this is just part of it. And they're also not thinking about how media doesn't give this either men or girls like this sort of representation. So anyway, yeah, I don't normally like film analysis from the level of representation and such, but I think it was really important here because it's not too heavy-handed. Like Anne said, you like them because they're great characters, not because you're supposed to like them because it's a diversity hire or whatever. Last thing I'll say before we close out is there's two moments right at the end that people go crazy about. They hate these moments. One is that as they're taking Cooper out of the house right after he got tased and everything, he's being brought up to the prison truck, whatever he's about to be put into. Okay, he stops and says, like, he wants to like put the bicycle upright. And, knowing that he has OCD and also that this is a child's bicycle, like one of his children that he won't get to see anymore. As he reaches for this bicycle, the wife says, don't shoot him. And Dr. Josephine Grant doesn't stop him from setting the bicycle upright. And so people are like, that's not realistic. Like, there's no way they're going to capture this serial killer and then let him stop on the way to the truck and then like set that thing up. And of course, he steals a wheel spoke. In that moment, you find out in the last scene that he's stealing a wheel spoke so that he can unlock his handcuffs and escape again. So the people have a problem with the realism here, but I think the realism matters a lot less than, first of all, it's possible. It is possible. And part of why it's possible is because Dr. Josephine Grant has like this sort of bond with him. She's profiled him. She's gotten inside of his head. She actually feels bad for him, I think. And so she's, it's just like this moment of like, oh, yes, he is also a father. This is sad. Let him set the bicycle up. He's got OCD. Just let him do it. And then we'll take him away. But then this other cop car shows up and the two children come out and they come running up to him. This is the other thing that drives people crazy. Specifically, Riley comes running up to him, crying, of course, just sobbing, running up, going, Dad, Dad. And she runs up and gives him a hug. And people are like, oh my God, that's so unrealistic. They would not let her run up and give him a hug. But if you listen to that scene, you'll hear Dr. Josephine Grant say, let her past, or let her through, whatever it is. The point is simply this, everybody. Like I said, Dr. Josephine Grant understands that he is also a father. She, as a woman, understands the importance of this relationship because she has already seen that this guy was like serving the function of a real dad for Riley. He feels like he needs to say goodbye to her. Riley needs to say goodbye to him. Dr. Josephine Grant knows this. She's been inside of his head. She's been thinking about this. So yeah, I think that the main reason people take it to be unrealistic and they're not even listening to what happened there, which is let her through. It's because people are just missing what I take to be the overall point. So I'd love to do a follow-up someday. We'll bring in some Levinas. We'll bring in some psychoanalysis. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I think was really cool about this film. People who didn't bother to watch it, who just wanted to listen to the synopsis and spoilers and analysis that we've given you here. There you go. That's what it is. Now go watch it yourself. I think you'll enjoy it. If you don't, or if you do, if you disagree with me or not, like I'm interested. I'm interested in hearing back from everybody. But anyway, we gotta close this thing out. Any last thoughts, Ao or Ann? Ann says no. Ao says no. All right. Thanks you two for being here. And then Christopher and Zach, thanks for being so patient. See you in a sec. Peace.
We cannot do direct revolution, but the only way to lay the foundation for it is to do what you are doing to move the underground. It's a theoretically correct title.
Welcome to Theory Underground, a place for workers with earbuds who are tired of letting others read and think on their behalf, slipstreaming our way into an understanding of a situation that short-circuits the deadlocks of our moment.
Research at Theory Underground focuses on what is most important for understanding our current situation: theory of the subject, capital, time-energy theory, critical media theory, CMT, and the most essential critiques necessary for understanding why the theory, ideology, and common sense of influencers left to right misses the mark.
Theory Underground is coming to a city near you. What that has meant in the last year is traveling across the United States, into Canada, and then all over Europe to promote our books, courses, and ideas related to time energy and underground theory. You've been reading Underground Theory.
I'm a publisher and an editor. I run and review books. Literally, it's my living. This is the best edited collection I've ever read.
Okay, picture this scene. America, early 2021. An Amazon warehouse worker arises from the emerging underground theory internet scene to create spaces for untimely topics and concerns that are too often neglected or kept in isolation today. Joined by a revolving cast of underground theorists, academics, and critics, he establishes what will become Theory Underground, a teaching, research, and publishing platform by and for working-class intellectuals, autodidacts, and academics who want to do more than they're able to do within the confines of academia. That warehouse worker's name is David McKerracher, and his book Time Energy is his first major contribution to the world of theory. It was recently reprinted with a foreword by none other than Slavoj Žižek, who also contributed to Theory Underground's latest book.
My Bible, it's an excellent book.
A collection of essays called Underground Theory.
What you just heard is an excerpt from the Strange Exiles podcast, episode 23, where Bram from Strange Exiles interviewed me and Mikey. For those who don't know, Mikey is the author of the Dangerous Maybe blog. We are publishing one of his books here shortly at Theory Underground. He's also a lecturer at Theory Underground, and he's someone I've been friends and a collaborator with for over 10 years. But most importantly for you all, he's a fantastic lecturer, and it's a crime that he has to do wage labor right now. One of the long-term goals of Theory Underground has been now for a couple of years to hashtag free Mikey. That is something that I've been really pushing, but first I had to get freed from wage labor, which was achieved this year. That's right. Thanks to my monthly seminar subscribers, I was able to quit Amazon and do Theory Underground full time. Now I'm announcing the next big phase of the plan, which is the Mikey Down seminar. What monthly subscribers to the Mikey seminar are paying for is a survey of philosophy, including deep dives into Žižek, Land, Lacan, Baudrillard, Bataille, Lyotard, and ultimately the whole history of philosophy.
We're trying to build like this ongoing seminar, right? And that's what I really like about this thing, where, you know, if I'm teaching a main text, that's something I got to focus on. I got to really, but the seminar thing, we can do this stuff all the time where we dive deeper into concepts, we dive deeper into certain, sections of books or whatever, and we can really do this nuanced stuff.
I think that there's probably no better way for us to accelerate our learning in these areas than by slipstreaming Mikey. And that has been my belief for years and years and years now. It's official. You're able to help out. You're able to get involved. You're able to benefit directly from liberating him from wage labor. Get on it right now. Do it. Just go. Stop what you're doing. Go click the button, subscribe. This is what you do. Subscribe to him. If you're already signed up for the ongoing Theory Underground seminars, then that's the ones that I do with my wife, Anne. Though that's getting an upgrade, which means that I will be doing one session per month that is just me, and then I will also be doing the ones with Anne, which are a crash course in sociology, anthropology, the social sciences, and ultimately Marx, Heidegger, Levinas, Bourdieu, imminently critiquing pop psychology, sociology, self-help, and ultimately the doxa of our time. But if you would like to be a subscriber to both Mikey's seminar and the seminar that the Snellgrove McKerrachers are doing, then the best way is to become a Tier 4 subscriber, or you can be a Tier 2 subscriber to each of us. The reason this matters is because Tier 2 is like pretty much the best bang for your buck. It gives you huge discounts on all of the courses that we do. But if you can't afford it, Tier 4 is amazing because it gives you Tier 3 access at both Mikey's seminar and ours.
And finally, not everybody has time to be part of these ongoing research seminars, and they just want to fund the paid content for the YouTube and podcast. And so thank you so much to our patrons over at Patreon. They're the ones funding all the free stuff. So big thank you to Bert, Marilyn, Carl, Sahil, Zozandra, Nikolai, Darian, Tyler, and Mandeep, and all the other wonderful patron people. Patreon people. And thank you to all the other wonderful Patreon people. Thank you so much to all of you patrons, and also to the special subscribers and the paying subscribers. Oh my god, it's just so awkward. Thank you, Patreon. Patrons. Thank you. Okay. And to all the other wonderful patrons, thank you so much, all you patrons. And also a special thanks to the subscribers on the YouTube side, as well as the paying subscribers over at Substack. Why can't we do this? God, you guys,
Please.
just thank you. Thank you, everyone, for making this bullshit possible. Thank you to the subscribers. You do it. You did so good. Thanks, guys.